What's going on, guys? And this is gonna be part 2 to What If Goku Was Born as Gogeta. So basically, they do their normal year of training. Since Gogeta is Gogeta, he finishes Goku's not even a year, because he still had to travel through Snake Way, so it wasn't even a year worth of training. He passes Snake Way faster than Goku, and he completes the training faster than Goku. So that means that they revive him. So I'm gonna say that they revive Gogeta. And so Gogeta gets to, Gogeta is able to take on Kaioken times 5, alright then. And that's all, because Gogeta is Gogeta, and Gogeta is a badass. So Gogeta gets to Earth, and he still has a little under half a year left to train with the other humans. They're like, somewhat relative to their original counterparts due to training with Gogeta in the past, making them stronger than their canon selves at this point in time. And so training with Gogeta more makes them stronger. As well as Gogeta gets a smaller increase than when he trained with King Kai, but he still gets an increase in power. As well as a stronger Piccolo trains Gohan, so they both get stronger than their original counterparts. That fateful day, Nappa blows up a city with ease, and then they travel towards the highest power levels, and the Z Fighters, due to them being the Z Fighters, they can sense power levels, so they sense Nappa and Vegito, and they meet each other halfway. So these are the Saiyans! Haha! Yes, we are. Vegito, let me kill him. Let me fight him. Let me fight them. And so Nappa charges up to about 75% of his power, and he goes over to Krillin and just bodies him. But then Vegito says, "Now hold on, Nappa," as Krillin is in critical state, and he says, "Let's just see how strong these guys are." As he then plants Cybermen, and the Cybermen go on, but they all get bodied, except all the Cybermen get bodied by the Z Fighters, except for Yamcha, because we have to have this, otherwise it's not a good Dragon Ball What If. Piccolo then powers up more, able to take on Nappa with help from the others, while Gogeta stares at Vegito. As then Gogeta powered up, and so did Vegito, and then they started to clash, throwing punches and kicks and normal Dragon Ball style fighting, and Vegito is clearly overpowering Gogeta, as it is the stronger fusion. Wait, what? Nah, I'm not getting that Gogeta versus Vegito war in the comment section. But he basically trips Vegito. Vegito falls down. He has more skills than Vegito ever did, but Vegito has more power, but not for long, as he yells Kaioken times 3, and he equals out Vegito, but he can't handle Kaioken for too long. So this is only a temporary boost, making him match Vegito. But then he says Kaioken times 4 and shoots a Kamehameha, leading to Vegito having to use Big Bang Attack and a special energy wave like the Kamehameha, but not exactly the Kamehameha. Partially because Vegito has Kamehameha, but not yet. Not in this timeline yet. And then he uses that to amp his Big Bang Attack to overpower the times 4 Kamehameha. And therefore, Gogeta gets hit by that and is able to survive it. So weak. As he then starts to use his feet and kick down on Gogeta. And he starts kicking him in the face repeatedly, non-stop, strong, powerful kicks, enough to easily kill over millions of humans with just one kick. Gogeta is being very quick on his feet, blocking and kind of tanking, but mostly blocking and dodging. But the attacks that he does get hit by, they do massive damage. Until Gogeta traps Vegito in a state where Vegito's kicking, but he can't block any attacks while he's kicking, and so Gogeta dodges, shoots a ki blast into his stomach, and then combos with the final flash. Nappa then powers up to full power and starts bodying everybody, even Piccolo. Piccolo starts regenerating, but it takes a lot of ki to do that, so it makes him weaker. Therefore, Nappa's having an easier time. until Gohan gets enraged after spending so much time with Mr. Piccolo. He decided to have to care for him, and so when he sees Mr. Piccolo die, quote unquote die, get hurt a lot, Gohan gets enraged and starts taking on Nappa by himself, and so he's kind of equaling out. Sorry about that. And so he starts equaling out to Nappa's 95%, and with help from Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien, they kind of overpower Raditz. But Raditz does get off a Nappa cannon, putting Piccolo in critical condition, but not killing him unless he bleeds to death or somebody kills him. Vegito then gets enraged and powers up to full, and is like, "I've had enough, Galak!" And so Gogeta powers up a Kamehameha in his Kaioken times 4, but not equaling out Vegito's full power. As then they shoot it at each other, the beams clash until Gogeta says, "Kaioken times 5!" As he then goes full power, but it does take so much out of him that he's basically useless in a fight after using it. And so it overpowers Vegito, but does not kill him because Vegito's Vegito and he's a badass. And he does not go and fly into space like Vegeta did, I think. But he does just fall back down, still somewhat conscious, and still has some of his power left, as he shoots a beam into the air. As Vegito is now turned into, I could find a Great Ape Vegito form, but I'm too lazy to do that. And so, he, as a Great Ape, he then starts to stomp on everybody, being way more powerful than them, and Gogeta being useless in the fight. Until Gogeta gives them the plan of using the Spirit Bomb to distract them. And so, Krillin throws the Spirit Bomb at Vegito, but Vegito jumps over it. It's heading straight for Gohan, but Gohan bounces it back, hitting Vegito from behind, giving them enough time to cut off his tail and turn him back to normal Vegito. As then, he tried to crawl back to his spaceship, but Krillin, with a ki blast in hand, is about to kill Vegito, but then Gogeta stops him and says, "What are you doing? Stop. He was a strong fighter. I want to fight him another time." And Vegito says, "Same." And then Krillin throws his ki blast at the ship, and so now Vegito can't escape. But he does have to stay on Earth, and he will be receiving normal healing and not a Senzu bean, because they don't want him to get back up and start killing everybody again. That's when Gogeta uses Goku's signature move and turns Vegito into a good guy, or at least an anti-hero for now. As it's kind of like the Talk No Jutsu, but kind of weaker. As Vegito has now joined their side after telling them about Frieza and all the horrible things he's done to their race and everything. Gogeta says, "No, you don't have to get immortality to do it. Just get strong enough to beat him." And so they all set a course for Namek. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to say everybody except for Vegito and Gogeta. Everybody who went in the original plus Piccolo, so it's basically Bulma, Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo go to Namek first, in the first spaceship, and then Gogeta and Vegito go in the second spaceship. Now, the Frieza Force lands on Earth, on planet Namek, and Guru says, "Nail, I sense great evil power." I sense it too, Grand Elder. As then he tells Nail that he also senses a good power coming to stop these threats, aka Piccolo and Bulma, Gohan and Krillin. And so he tells Nail to go meet up with them and train with them to get them as strong as he is, so that way they can try and fight off these armies. Once they land, they are greeted by Nail, as he then says, "Challenge me." And so Piccolo challenges him as he is the strongest one there, and he says, "I'll try to kill him so we can hurry up and get this done with." But then he says, "I'm only here to help." As then Piccolo tries to fight Nail, but gets absolutely bodied. As he says, "You guys are pretty weak. I'm going to train you all, and let's go back to Grand Elder Guru's place." As then they see that he has a Dragon Ball, I don't have a picture of him with the Dragon Ball, but that doesn't really matter. Now does that? And so, they're in there. They all get their not Bulma. Bulma stays back, but Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo all get their potential unlocked, as well as Nail gets his potential unlocked, while Frieza is bullying kids for Dende, and like in front of Dende. And so then he tells Nail that one day they might have, all three of them might have to fuse to become one great powerful being, just to stop this one threat. As he senses Frieza bullying Nail's village. I meant bullying Dende's village, not Nail's village. Gohan and Krillin race to the village to save the poor Namekians, as then Dodoria finds them and tries to follow them and track them down. As he follows them to Piccolo, who then bodies Dodoria in a fight after training with Nail and getting his potential unlocked. He body slams Dodoria into the ground, and then he says he charges up a special beam cannon, while Gohan and Krillin both distract Dodoria. Zarbon notices that Dodoria's power level has dropped due to the scouter, and so Zarbon gets up and goes after and follows the last place that Dodoria's power was sensed. Not after telling Lord Frieza first, and so since they did that, he called in the Ginyu Force just in case Zarbon failed. And so when Zarbon meets the little Z Fighter group that's there right then, Zarbon gets bodied by Piccolo and Krillin working together until he transforms and starts bodying all three of them until Nail gets in and he starts fighting against Zarbon in his transformed state. He's weaker than Zarbon, but he is standing a good ass chance against Zarbon. Until Piccolo comes up from behind Zarbon and sneak attacks him, making Zarbon weak enough for Nail to be just as strong as him and beat Zarbon in a fight with help from Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan in the sidelines. And so, due to Nail being almost beat to death, due to him fighting against Zarbon alone as opposed to Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin working together, Nail didn't think he was gonna get back up in those fights. And he had lost too much ki and energy fighting against Zarbon to ever regenerate. And so, him and Piccolo both fused, healing Piccolo back to 100% and giving him a power boost far beyond what any of them could ever imagine, as every scouter around the area just blew up in the Frieza soldiers' faces, killing some of them, and some of them they just went back to Lord Frieza, as Frieza sensed that with his own scouter, who was fairly far away, so it didn't blow up, but he did sense that power boost, and it wasn't even Piccolo's full power, as he says, that surpassed my first form. The Ginyu Force stands no chance. But maybe if they all five of them work together, then maybe. As then, the Ginyu Force arrives. And due to Gohan being half Saiyan, also gets a Zenkai, making him equal to Zarbon's base form. And so when the Frieza Force gets here, they notice that Goldo can stop time, which is OP. And so, when he stops time, he can't stop it for very long. He underestimated the three warriors that's standing in front of him. As Piccolo, as he stops time, one shots Krillin, and then he's about to say, "Ha ha ha! That was too easy." As he's about to go one shot Gohan, but Piccolo goes in front of Goldo, I don't know, and kills him instantly, leaving only Jace, Birder, and Captain Ginyu himself, who left to go talk to Frieza. So that's only leaving Jace, Birder, and Raycoon. And so the battle between Raycoon and Piccolo goes fairly the same as Piccolo versus second form Frieza. I think Frieza got bodied, or at least they were equal, but he surpassed Frieza's first form, which I don't think Raycoon has. So I'm just gonna say Piccolo body slams that dude, and he's holding back to a point to where he doesn't kill him, but he is having fun bodying him. While Burter goes up and fights Gohan and bodies Gohan, almost killing him. That's when Piccolo feels the need to go fight Burter, and so he actually outspeeds the fastest in the universe, and he bodies slams him into the ground, and then he's not gonna hold back against Burter for trying to kill his student that he's now caring about, and he's about to kill him when suddenly a blast from Jace comes and goes through Piccolo's chest, injuring him pretty badly until Vegito arrives. And Vegito and Gogeta arrive. Vegeta then one-shots Raccoon to the point where he's knocked out and then uses his secret weapon, his spirit sword, and pierces straight through Burter and Jace, and cutting off Jace's arm and blowing up Burter, as well as then stabbing Raccoon, killing the two, and Burter goes back to Captain Ginyu, racing off. Gogeta then gives them a Senzu Bean. I'm getting through the Frieza saga. I don't care how long it takes. I'm getting through the Frieza saga, and so Gogeta gives them a Senzu Bean, and after they're all healed, Gohan gets a Zenkai boost, and so they all go after Jace, who told Captain Ginyu about what happened, that he should probably switch bodies or something. And so, once they get there, Gogeta immediately overestimates Jace and one-shots him to the ground, almost killing him, until Vegito finishes the job with a spirit sword. And then he switches body with Vegito, enhancing and making that will trigger another fight between Gogeta and Vegito, but a weaker Vegito, which Vegito's base was already stronger than Gogeta's base, and since they both got a Zenkai, with Vegito getting a bigger Zenkai, and training in the same place, which is like 300 times gravity with Gogeta in the same place, his base is naturally stronger than Gogeta's base. So Vegito's base is equal to Gogeta's Kaioken times 6, which Gogeta can go higher than that. That's why Gogeta is stronger. But, uh, but base to base, Gogeta's weaker. And so, with him not having the full power of Gogeta, he would I'm gonna say he only has times 2 Gogeta, which is still a lot compared to Gogeta's normal power. And so Gogeta goes Kaioken times 3, bodies Ginyu Vegito, wants to switch bodies with him, but then Krillin throws a frog in the way, and Vegito gets his normal body back. And that's how it goes. Frieza, feeling these powers, is now pissed and powers up to his second form, saying that uh, that one Namekian that surpassed my first form stands no chance against my second form, as well as none of those other weaklings, as he then goes out to fight the Z Warriors himself, while they get the Dragon Balls and they summon Purunga. I am the Eternal Dragon. State your wish. I am on steroid. Okay, I'm gonna stop. As they look at a random Namekian, aka Dende, and they say, "How do we get the dragon to? How do we wish for things from the dragon?" And so they wish for, and so Dende gets their wish, but Vegito is kind of a changed person, but with Gogeta there, it really wouldn't change anything. And so they revive Yamcha because the Earth Dragon Balls, they couldn't revive Yamcha because he was too useless. He's like, I need more power for that, but I don't have enough power. And so that's why they went to Namek, to revive him and to stop Frieza, because Vegeta was bitching about it. But that is until second form Frieza arrives, and then when he feels everybody's power levels, he decides to power up into his third form, then he knows for a fact they can't beat him. And so he starts bullying everybody. Everybody, yeah, works together, puts them in combos and stuff, and that's doing some damage to him, but it's not doing any major damage. until Krillin shoots a destructo disc that Frieza didn't see coming, and it cuts off his tail. As Vegito then uses a spirit sword to try to pierce through his chest, but it doesn't work. He's too strong for Vegito, which is something I would never thought I would say. Until Vegito powers up to full power, cracking his chest and piercing through him, but not all the way, as Gogeta then slams him to the ground, and they both then power up. A Super Kamehameha, working together to destroy third form Frieza, until Frieza powers up once more. Take that! As he then tanks both the Kamehamehas, as then they fuse into one Mega Kamehameha, but Frieza still just tanks it. As he then shoots an energy blast right through Piccolo, who was caught off guard by the attack, and he was already outclassed by his third form anyway, so his final form would just be overkill, as Piccolo is now in critical condition. Gogeta powers up a spirit bomb and throws it at Frieza, and then the same thing happens in the original. Frieza somehow survives, shoots a blast through Gohan's chest, almost killing Gohan, but he thought he killed him, and then he proceeds to kill Krillin, as Vegito really didn't have an emotional attachment to Krillin, so it really wouldn't affect him, but Gogeta did, as they were basically kind of raised together with Master Roshi. As the sky starts to turn black, yellow aura starts to surround and replace Gogeta's normal white/blue aura, as his hair starts going up and starts turning yellowish gold, as all of his clothes start lifting up, as he goes Super Saiyan, and he says, "This is Super Gogeta," as Vegito pissed his pants, and he's like, "That's a Super Saiyan, the legendary Super Saiyan." As then Gogeta then just flies up to Frieza and punches him in the stomach once, making Frieza almost pass out from that one punch, and he wasn't even at full power. As he then powers up to half power, and then Vegito, getting as enraged as he is, and getting a little jealous. Yeah, I know this. Bitching Vegito and getting jealous, that does not seem like him. But when you have someone as powerful as Gogeta, that's kind of how you would be. As he then gets angry and powers up to himself into a Super Saiyan himself. I know the lightning may make it seem like a Super Saiyan 2, but trust me, it's Super Saiyan. And so Vegito in his Super Saiyan and Gogeta in his Super Saiyan make Frieza scared and shit his pants. And you know, and so Frieza goes full power on them, right? And then they just both shoot a normal ki blast, almost knocking out Frieza, and then they power up themselves. Vegito kind of mixing in the Final Flash technique that Gogeta taught him, and Gogeta mixing in the Big Bang technique that fucking Vegito taught him. And so Gogeta says, "Big Bang Kamehameha!" as Vegito says, "Final Kamehameha!" completely atomizing Frieza. There's no Mecha Frieza, and they accidentally destroy the planet. But good thing Gohan didn't die, because he wished for everybody to get back to Earth safely. As well as Bulma. Either Gohan or Bulma. I'd say it's Bulma, actually, so it's not an A pool. And so they all get back to Earth, except for Vegito, Gogeta, and Frieza, which Frieza just got atomized, as well as the planet. And so they find a spaceship outside. It was wandering. It was just hanging around Namek. It was one of Frieza's spaceships, as they easily take it down, because they're not as strong. The Frieza soldiers aren't as strong as Zarbon, who isn't as strong as the Ginyu Force, who isn't as strong as Frieza. So they easily take them down, no problem. And then they don't know how to work the ship except for Vegito, but the ship's kind of damaged because the planet just blew up, so there's rocks flying everywhere. So the planet is kind of messed up, and so the ship the ship is kind of messed up, and so the ship kind of flies down. They can kind of navigate it, kind of not, and so it crashes on a planet called Planet Yardrat, and that's where I'm leaving this part off.